So here's the deal. AI is gonna make us superhuman. Welcome back to Listen to Leo. In today's video, I wanted to share 5 superpowers that you can develop for yourself with the help of AI. As AI continues to advance at an incredible pace, it's giving us abilities that we once thought only possible in science fiction. It'll currently give us super strength through extreme leverage, the ability to manipulate time by learning faster, spatial multiplicity by using agents, universal communication across languages, and telekinesis by achieving real world results at the speed of thought. Let's dig into those. Superpower number 1, super strength. So this is achievable through extreme. If you're familiar with the quote from Archimedes that said, "If I had a lever large enough, I could move the world," that is what this gives us. AI gives us the ability to become so strong that we can move the world. If you're familiar with the work of Naval Ravikant, he says that we live in a time of infinite leverage. And leverage comes in 3 forms, 2 of which have existed pretty much forever. So labor, you can pay other people to do things for you. And capital, you can put money into people who are doing the stuff. And that's great, right? You can invest capital and get returns on that. Now, the third form of leverage that is new is stuff that has essentially a zero cost of reproduction. And this typically comes in 2 different formats. There's content, putting your ideas out into the world via YouTube, blogging, podcasts, whatever, and code, things that you can just run repeatedly anywhere at any scale. So this is the newest form of leverage and one that really anybody can access. So it took a lot of time to create leverage. Now you're able to do this almost instantly. And even people who don't really know how to code can generate the code they need and the instructions on how to implement it, which gets them a lot closer, a lot faster. And that brings us into superpower number 2, time manipulation. Gonna feel a little bit like Doctor Strange here, perhaps, but basically, you get time manipulation by being able to learn faster. So ties in really well to the first point, but you no longer need to spend a ton of time learning, researching sources, everything like that. Basically, you've got all of this in a single location on the internet. Now, critics of things like ChatGPT will talk about how, it really fails at all these different things, and that's totally fine. But what you've got access to is like 90% of the information you need, and all of a sudden, instead of spending a ton of time on all of the learning you have to do, now you get to like focus a lot of that time and effort on the last 10%. So AI will get you most of the way there. What used to take you 6 months to learn, you can now learn in like 6 hours. And so through that, you're manipulating time. You're shrinking it down when it's time to learn, and you're expanding it when it's time to apply what you're learning. And so instead of spending 6 months learning and then 6 months, applying that, you spend 6 hours learning and then the rest of that 6 months applying. Time manipulation, extremely powerful superpower. Number 3, spatial multiplicity. Now you're probably looking at me and going, Leo, what the hell is spatial multiplicity? And this is what the AI came up with. Basically, I was looking for the term for, someone being able to put themselves in multiple places at once. And my handy dandy AI assistant was like, hey, humans can't really exist in more than one place at once, right? And I was like, thanks, AI. It's for a science fiction book. And it's like, oh, great. We'll call it spatial multiplicity, which I actually thought was a pretty great term. But basically, this is the idea of being able to put yourself in multiple places at once. Previously, you could do this kind of through automation and set things up on basic triggers or, various types of inputs. Great. They would run certain tasks in a certain way. But now we've been seeing this rise of autonomous AI agents, and you're not seeing a ton of utility in general purpose AI agents, although they're making some pretty interesting progress there. But you can get pretty specific agents to do certain things and be able to intelligently decide it kind of the intermediate steps, what steps that it needs to take in order to get to the result you're looking for. And so in this way, you can essentially train a little tiny mini version of you to do a very specific thing the same way you would, and put it out in the world somewhere. And that's a copy of you out just doing your thing. And so you start doing this over time, start spreading out. All of a sudden, you're all over the place, all at the same time. And it all acts like you. Spatial multiplicity. Pretty damn cool. Okay, next superpower. We've got universal communication. Just think about this for a minute. As of right now, we've basically got the ability to translate text from any language to any language, real time, audio, text, whatever. The audio is maybe not quite as widespread as the text piece, but if you drop some text into like ChatGPT and tell it to translate it into, let's say, German, that's the one I'm learning, it can do a pretty damn good job of that. Is it perfect? No. Is it way better than anything we've really had previously? Like, it's pretty good. I mean, this is near universal communication. When you think of the entirety of human history and how big of a difference like that is compared to where you were even 50 or 100 years ago, that's absolutely incredible. Universal communication. We can talk to pretty much anybody in the world at this point. Absolutely phenomenal. And number 5, telekinesis. Okay, hear me out. So basically getting real world results at the speed of thought. And that is really essentially what we're getting. Sure, we have to type it out or maybe speak it. There's all sorts of adapters that you can use. We do have Elon working on Neuralink, which Elon maybe will wait for a competitor. But either way, it really is actually getting pretty close to being the actual speed of thought. But in effect, it is the speed of thought. And again, it goes to this idea of like time manipulation and learning and being able to do things so much faster. Now it's like we think something and it just happens. Think about how absolutely incredible that is. Okay, so recap. We've got super strength through extreme leverage. We're going to go ahead and move this world. We've got time manipulation. Got Doctor Strange. We're manipulating it. We're changing it, speeding it up, slowing it down, whatever we need to do in order to get the results that we want. We have spatial multiplicity. Everybody's favorite new term. Calling it now. That's going to be what all the kids are saying here in about the next 5 or 6 months, right? We have universal communication, the ability to talk to anybody else in the world, and we have telekinesis because I'm making shit happen with my mind. Tell me that's not pretty cool. So, all right, there it is. There are the 5 superpowers you can get from AI starting today. Go out, learn how to use those. Please use your powers for good. The universe is counting on you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.